Welcome to another video. Well, bringing you back with a new Halloween story. Welcome back to a new Halloween story. And this also has, other than that, it has the scary story section. It also has like Halloween sections, Halloween games, Halloween something, etc. Something like that. But this one's from the Halloween section, and so you could consider it as some having some stories that include that's something to do with Halloween. But yeah, I have a story, and as you can see here, this one is called Jack o' Lantern. And every Halloween, people carve a jack o' lantern out of a pumpkin. But did you know that this tradition or but did you know that this tradition originated in Ireland? Back then, it was a carved turnip, but not a pumpkin, and it is related to the old Irish legend of Stingy Jack, also known as Drunk Jack. So I guess this picture right here, I'm guessing the this person in this photo, this person in this picture is supposed to be Stingy Jack, aka Drunk Jack. Well, nonetheless, okay. Let's see. I guess this should be about the backstory about why we why we carve jack o' lanterns on our pumpkins. Yeah, I guess this story is gonna tell us about a little backstory as to why we carve jack o' lanterns on pumpkins on every Halloween. But nonetheless, this should certainly be interesting. Nonetheless, let's do it. So sit back, relax, and let me get myself locked on as I read the story. As I read the backstory of Jack o' Lantern. Yeah, this is Jack o' Lantern. Enjoy. People might have been making jack o' lanterns at Halloween for centuries. The practice originated from an Irish myth about a man nicknamed Stingy Jack. According to the story, according to the story, Stingy Jack invited the devil to have a drink with him. True to his name, Stingy Jack didn't want to pay for his drink, so he convinced the devil to turn himself into a coin and that Jack could use to buy their drinks. Once the devil did so, Jack decided to keep the money and put it into his pocket next to a silver cross, which prevented the devil from changing back into his original form. Jack eventually freed the devil under the condition that he would not bother Jack for 1 year, and that should Jack die, under the condition that he would not bother Jack for 1 year, and that should Jack die, he would not claim his soul. The next year, Jack again tricked the devil into climbing into a tree to pick a piece of fruit. While he was in the tree, Jack carved a sign of the cross into the tree's bark so that the devil could not come down until the devil promised Jack not to bother him for 10 more years. But when Jack died, God would not allow him into heaven, and the devil would not allow him into hell. Okay, so if someone people, so I yeah I've all heard about heaven and hell. Like for example, for all those good people, those for all the good people that unfortunately died, goes to heaven, and for the people that are bad, like those people who have been very bad, been a bad, basically like went to jail or basically did something so bad that they got arrested and possibly get executed by the police, then they'll go to hell. And so, what would happen when you die? And if you and well, what happens if you don't go to heaven or hell? What happens if you don't go to either of them? If when you die, where would you go? Where would you go if you're not allowed to go to heaven or hell? The devil was so upset that he sent Jack off into the night with only a burning coal. I mean, to a burning coal to light his way in the darkness. Jack put the coil. I mean, Jack put the coal into a carved out turnip and has been roaming the earth with ever since. Instead of Will of the Wisps, the strange she. Oh my God! Instead of Will of the Wisps, the strange lights you see on the moors, Irish people called them Jack of the Lanterns, and then simply Jack o' Lantern. In Ireland and Scotland, people began to make their own versions of Jack's lanterns by carving scary faces into turnips or potatoes and placing them into windows or near doors to frighten away evil spirits. When Irish people immigrated to America, they brought these old traditions with them because turnips were scarce and pumpkins were plentiful. Jack-o'-lanterns were carved out of pumpkins instead. Okay, well there you have it. We've learned about the backstory behind why we behind people. We learned this backstory behind jack-o'-lanterns, how back how Irish people used to make how Irish people like Stingy Jack used to use turnips for jack-o'-lanterns, but then when Irish people emigrated to America, they changed the old tradition. They changed the old tradition a bit by using pumpkins instead of turnips for the jack-o'-lanterns. Now that's really an enthusiastic backstory about jack-o'-lanterns. Well, well, that's it. That's it for this video. Yeah, that's it for this. That's it for this video. That was the backstory of Jack-o'-lantern. If you guys enjoyed the video, you guys already know the drill. Like, subscribe, and comment, and already know how I'll always be copying and pasting the link of the website ScaryForKids in the description below. So, nonetheless, thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end. Until next time, I'll see you. I'll catch you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.